Greetings, fellow humans. Katrina here. Quick disclaimer, I'm a professional, not your professional. Nothing I'm about to say should be taken as medical, legal, or otherwise advice. This podcast is purely for education and amusement. That is it. Disclaimer over. So today I figured I'd tell you what I don't know about attachment theory. I'll drop a few names you can Google if you want to learn more. I found this on a site called simplypsychology.org, and I will put a link in the references. The four types of attachment I'll talk about today are secure attachment, anxious or ambivalent attachment, avoidant attachment, and disorganized or fearful attachment. Okay, here we go. Secure attachment. John Bowlby, that's one of the names you can Google, back in 1988, described secure attachment as the capacity to connect well and securely in relationships with others, while also having the capacity for autonomous action as situationally appropriate. So, secure attachment is characterized by trust, which is an adaptive response to being abandoned, and the belief that one is worthy of love. An infant with a secure attachment is characterized as actively seeking and maintaining proximity with the mother, especially during the reunion episode. The infant may or may not be friendly with the stranger, but always showed more interest in interacting with the mother. Additionally, during the same situation, the infant tended to be slightly distressed during the separation from the mother, but the infant rarely cried. Mary Ainsworth, another name you can Google, and her colleagues, they interpreted infants who were securely attached to their mothers showed less anxiousness and more positive attitudes toward their relationship, and were likely because they believed in their mother's responsiveness towards their needs. So one of the things that's a old wives' tale is to just let a kid cry, let a baby cry. Nowadays, they're showing more, if a kid is crying, go give them what they need. Yeah. So moving on, anxious or ambivalent attachment. Anxious attachment relationships are characterized by a concern that others will not reciprocate one's desire for intimacy. This is caused when infants learn that their caregiver or parent is unreliable and does not consistently provide responsive care towards their needs. An anxiously attached infant is characterized by being somewhat ambivalent and resistant to the mother. The infant often demonstrated signs of resisting interactions with the mother, especially during the strange situation reunion episode. However, once contact with the mother was gained, the infant also showed strong intentions to maintain such contact. Overall, ambivalent infants often seem to display maladaptive behaviors throughout the strange situation. So just to throw it in there, they put these infants in a whole lot of different situations and then monitored their responses. So those are the ones that I'm referring to. So back to Mary Ainsworth and colleagues, they found that ambivalent infants to be anxious and unconfident about their mother's responsiveness, and their mothers were observed to lack a fine sense of timing in responding to the infant's needs. As adults, those with anxious, preoccupied attachment style are overly concerned with the uncertainty of a relationship. They hold a negative working model of self and positive working model of others. Next is this one called avoidant attachment. That's different than the ambivalence. So avoidant attachment. Children with avoidant attachment styles tend to avoid interaction with the caregiver and show no distress during separation. This may be because the parent has ignored attempts to be intimate, and the child may internalize the belief that they cannot depend on this or any other relationship. An infant with an avoidant attachment was characterized as displaying little to no tendency of seeking proximity with the mother. The infant often showed no distress during separation with the mother, interacted with the stranger similarly to how he or she would interact with the mother, and showed slight signs of avoidance, such as turning away, avoiding eye contact, things like that, when reunited with the mother. So Ainsworth and colleagues interpreted the infant's avoidance behaviors as a defense mechanism against the mother's own rejecting behaviors, such as being uncomfortable with physical contact or being more easily angered by the infants. Lastly, disorganized or fearful attachment. So there's these two dudes named Maine and Solomon, and back in 1986 is what I'm talking about. So they discovered that a sizable portion of infants actually did not fit into the secure, anxious, or avoidant based on the behaviors in the strange situation experiment. They categorized these infants as disorganized attachment type. So disorganized attachment is classified by children who display sequences of behaviors that lack the readily observable goals or intentions, including obviously contradictory behaviors or stilling or freezing movements. So Maine and Solomon found that the parents of disorganized infants often have unresolved attachment-related traumas, which cause the parents to display either frightening or frightened behaviors, in turn resulting in the disorganized infants to be confused or forcing them to rely on someone that they were afraid of at the same time. Okay, so today I went through secure attachment, anxious or ambivalent attachment, avoidant attachment, and disorganized or fearful attachment. I hope it was educational and or amusing. A book you might check out if you're interested in learning more about attachment is John Bowlby and Attachment Theory. That was written in 2006. And like I said, I'll put a link to the website that I got this from in the references section. So if you enjoyed today's episode and you'd like to support the show, click the button on the website. And I really appreciate each and every one of you simply for existing.